Now that we've covered social network basics, here are some tips for keeping your kids safe when using their favorite platforms. You may have noticed that your kids use more than one social network. That's because while they want to be connected to people, they also want privacy. So if they want a private, unsupervised space with their friends, they'll use a network like Snapchat. And if they want to interact with family members, they'll use a more public place, like Facebook. There is a difference between these and truly anonymous social networks like Yik Yak or Ask FM. Younger kids should not use these platforms because of the high likelihood of being bullied or being exposed to explicit adult content. Keep in mind, though, that older kids may want to turn to anonymous spaces for support on sensitive issues. While it's impossible to make sure your child never comes across inappropriate or disturbing content online, there are steps you can take to protect them. First, because social networking sites often tailor content so it's age-appropriate, make sure your kids have registered with their proper age. While some sites, like Facebook and Instagram, have policies to block nudity and other graphic images, if you do come across something offensive on Facebook, you can use the report link near the post to submit a report. Tumblr allows you to use their services in safe mode, and Twitter lets you set content filters to avoid seeing posts containing sensitive or graphic content. Also, check that autoplay is turned off for videos. Not only will this help save on streaming costs, your child won't be surprised by any potentially inappropriate content while scrolling through their feeds. You can visit the safety centers of these sites to learn about enabling these features. Protecting your kids from inappropriate content and harassment is important, but you also need to teach them to think carefully about how the things they post or share might affect others. When we engage with people online, we don't get a lot of the signals, like tone of voice or body language, that help us understand how someone is feeling and helps us feel empathy. So we may overreact and read something neutral as being negative. Teach your kids to start by assuming that the other person didn't mean to make them mad, and encourage them to talk face-to-face with the person before responding online. Help them recognize the physical signs that tell them when they're upset or scared, like feeling tense or having a racing heart, and encourage them to go offline until they've calmed down. Sometimes, even waiting a day before responding can make a big difference. It's important to impress on kids that regardless of what their friends and media may be telling them, things like sexting and cyberbullying are not normal or common behaviors. Teens are very sensitive to peer pressure, so if they think that a lot of their friends are doing something, even if it's bad or dangerous, they're more likely to do it themselves. Because things can get out of hand on social media, you may be tempted to insist your kids friend you or even monitor them directly by logging into their accounts or using surveillance software. However, spying on your kids or forcing them to friend you can build resentment and erode trust. There are lots of ways that kids can get online, and it's impossible to monitor them all the time. It's always better to talk with them about what they're doing, have rules and expectations in place, and then follow through with consequences. There's nothing wrong with asking your kids to friend you, though. Remember, if you do friend or follow your kids, while it's okay to like their posts, be careful not to become involved in conversations between them and their friends. If they say they don't want you to friend or follow them, you should respect that decision, but kids also need to know that you're there to help them if they need you. A respectful way to support your kids while respecting their privacy is to write down the username and password for all their social networks and put them in a secure place, like a piggy bank. That way they know that you're not going to make a habit of checking up on them, but you reserve the right to do this if you think there's a good reason to. It's important to have rules about online activities because they do make a difference, especially rules about treating people with respect, which is important for social media use. Unfortunately, parents tend to have more rules for girls, while teen boys, who are most at risk of getting in trouble online, are the ones with the fewest rules. You should start a dialogue with your kids long before they are old enough to be on social networks. That way you can teach them what they need to know before a lot of the drama that comes with trying to set limits for a teenager. Setting up a family social media account gives kids a gentle introduction into the world of social media. This way you can talk about privacy, bullying, and inappropriate sharing before they become real issues, and they also get some practice using the tools. For example, a fun project you can do as a family is starting an Instagram account for your family pet, or setting up a private Facebook group for your extended family to keep in touch. This video was created by MediaSmarts with financial support from Bell.